What's up, world? This is Salim with Flip for Figs, and today I'll be reviewing the LEGO Thieves of Tortuga from the BrickLink Designer Program Series 5. Let's do it.
Flip for Figs.
When I flip, you flip, we flip.
Alrighty, folks, if you don't know what BrickLink is a website that was founded in the early 2000s as an online LEGO marketplace where people from around the world could create their own shops to sell new and used LEGO sets, LEGO minifigures, and LEGO pieces. And as time grew on, the website grew, and then eventually in the late 2010s, BrickLink came up with the idea to have a designer program where essentially users could submit set designs that people could vote on. And then once the voting was completed, the top 5 sets would go into a crowdfunding phase where people like you and I could essentially pre-order the sets that they wanted. And if the sets met a certain threshold, then BrickLink, in partnership with the Lego company, would package the sets up with official Lego pieces and, send them to the people who ordered them. And so the first couple years of the BrickLink Designer Program worked that way, where everything was done directly on the BrickLink website. And then in 2020, after the Lego Group acquired BrickLink, they then decided to make the designer program official, starting with an official Series 1, where the designs were still submitted on the BrickLink website, and that's where all the voting took place. But once the finalists were selected, then all of the sets would actually be available on the Lego.com website for pre order from the general public. And they would usually cap the sets at around a 30,000 set quantity. And after that, the sets would no longer be available, and basically, they would quickly sell out in an hour or two. And they were just exclusive to that process. And so this specific set is actually from Series 5 of the designer program, which I personally feel is one of the strongest of all the series. They're up to Series 9 now. And so this set is specifically designed by Taylor Anderson. And yeah, it's an incredible pirate set. So let's take a closer look at it. The set contains 4,002 pieces spread across 51 numbered bags, as well as 4 additional non-numbered bags. No instruction booklet, just this sheet with info about the designer and a QR code to online instructions. One small sticker sheet. You begin building the first half with bag 1 and pieces from the non-numbered bags, quickly adding up a bunch of these tiles, which gets cumbersome, and this fun little skeleton. Then you start building the garrison tower with armory and nice roof detail. And it's bag 13 before you finally make the first minifigure. A lot of the roof pieces use these cylinders, which can get exhausting because of all the different shades of brown. Then you build the fortune teller's house, and the section starts coming together along with a nice inn there with a kitchen and some beds there that you could see through the window. I also like the balcony with the one pirate pouring water on the other. You finish up this section adding nice details like palm trees, as well as a well and some crates and barrels just to give it some more atmosphere. Really fun section and a complete build. If you look at it here, it's very fleshed out and could be a Lego set all on its own. The second section starts the same with the base and then a bunch of tiles. You start by building the storage or treasure home with all of the gold, nice shiny bricks and coins. Then you build the captain's quarters with a nice fancy bed and a telescope out the window. And then finally, the marina fish market, which is fun and has a nice awning over the window. You start adding some additional details again, like palm trees, a cannon, a dock, and this section too is really nice and fully fleshed out as well. Has a lot of fun detail packed into it. Then you build the bridge, which connects both sections together. And there you have it, the entire Tortuga set. For the minifigures, you get 13 total, including a mix of pirates, town residents, and some Imperials. First, these are the pirates who look like they actually are on the ship, if there was one. The captain is nicely detailed. The others are a bit generic. And then you have what I believe are the town residents, including the fish market guy, the fortune teller, and some guards, and somebody who looks like she's robbing the place. And then you have two Imperial soldiers here, which are nicely detailed. And you also get some animals like some seagulls, a shark, a pig, and a dog. The whole thing is just packed with detail. There's so much to look at everywhere you look. And so let's take a look inside. Here you have the garrison with the armory. Then you have that fortune teller's home, which has like a skull and a crystal bowl up top. And there's a pig right outside and a skeleton underneath, which is a lot of fun. There's like, it looks to be a prison underneath the entire build, and that was one skeleton who never made it out. Then you have the inn over here, which has two beds on top and then a little kitchen or dining area underneath. And on the other side, you have the marina here with the fish market with the nice kitchen there. And then you also have the captain's quarters nearby, where there's a telescope out the window, some statue, a nice little pirate ship build, which could be the Black Sea's Barracuda, a bed underneath. And then outside of the captain's door, there's a area with the sandcastle and a hole to put a treasure box in, which is kind of fun. And then around the corner, you have the storage or treasure room where you have a bunch of gold bricks. And, I think they need a little bit more security, but they do put one guard on the front balcony there. Probably not enough protection, but just look at this set. It really is magical, and it will transport you into Pirates of the Caribbean or any fun pirate atmosphere you can think of. There you have it with the Adventure in Transylvania, which is the other BrickLink set from Series 5. These are the only two BrickLink designer sets that I have, and I absolutely love them both. And there it is with the Black Pearl. I thought I would like these two together a bit more, but I think the Black Pearl is just not colorful enough to complement the Thieves of Tortuga set. I think if it was more colorful, it would look better next to it. And there you have it with the Pirates of Barracuda Bay. I have mine set up as the location, not the ship, and I think it looks perfect. I mean, these two almost blend together with the palm trees and the colors, and they just look wonderful together. I wish I had the space to display them together, but I don't, so I'll have to keep them separately. But they definitely complement one another, especially with those light blue bases and the palm tree. Alrighty, folks, and there it is in all its glory. And wow, this set is just incredible. And what's funny is I had told myself I'm not going to buy the BrickLink designer sets, and that's how I felt since the first ones ever came out. And then when the Adventure in Transylvania was shown, I was like, okay, that's going to be the only one I get. I love spooky stuff. It's such a unique set. It's my favorite color scheme. So I have to have that one. And I didn't even look at the rest of the sets that were available, to vote on, because I had tunnel vision on that set. And I was like, I buy enough Lego across other official themes. I'm not going to go down this BrickLink designer program rabbit hole. And then if you saw my review last week on the Adventure in Transylvania, you know that I absolutely loved that set. And I was like, that's going to be the only one I get, and I'll be done with it. Well, I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, which is a very, very dangerous thing to do. And I saw that somebody locally had this set brand new for a really, decent price, all things considered, considering it's a limited release and the pre order window closed a while ago. And so I picked it up, and I am so, so happy I did, because as much as I love the Adventure in Transylvania, this set takes it to a whole other level. In fact, as somebody who has over like 250 Lego sets, I have to say this is probably now in my top 5 of all time, which is a crazy thing to say because again, it's not technically an official Lego group set, But I mean, it does everything a Lego set should do and more in terms of display presence, in terms of just, ambiance, and yeah, everything about it is just incredible. And in fact, when I was building this set, it just made me feel like I was at the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland. So, for those of you who've been on that ride, either at Disneyland in California or Florida or somewhere in the world, that ride just, has such an amazing ambiance, like all of the different set pieces and the characters and the lighting, and it just makes me always wish that I could just roam free in that land or spend a night in a town like that. And it's such an incredible feeling when you're on that ride, and this set gave me very much that feeling. Like when I looked at it and I was building it, it just transported me there. I felt like I was there in the ride, just looking around and able to enjoy the city. And it's not often that a Lego set gives me that feeling of warmth, that feeling of enjoyment. I mean, usually I build the sets, I enjoy them, and I display them, and then I move on. But this set, it has gave me so much feeling, and like I said, I don't get that often. And in fact, even my 7-year old, my oldest daughter, she sees me build Lego all day long, and she never really pays a second look. I'll be like, Arya, come look at this, what do you think? And she'll be like, oh, it's nice, but she's never really that interested. But this set, she stopped in her tracks when I was building it, and I had only had this section halfway done, and she's like, can I play with it? And then after I finished this part, she played with this half. And then when I finished the whole thing, I was getting ready to, start filming this video, and she was like, "Can I play with it? It looks like so much fun." And sure enough, it's that type of Lego set that just draws you in. And as a 37-year-old man, I seldom play with my Lego sets. I build them, I enjoy displaying them. But this is a set that really just invites play. It gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling, and it just makes you want to spend all day with it. And so yeah, I mean, I can't gush about it enough. Again, it's not like a complex build by any means. There's no like mind-blowing new features or in fact there's no features at all in terms of like, aside from doors that open and close, there isn't like actual play features like with the Adventure in Transylvania. But what it lacks in features, it totally knocks out of the park with just ambiance, feeling, and attention to detail. Everywhere you look in this set, there's something to look at. There isn't a single stud of wasted space in this entire, display. The designer managed to fit something in everywhere you look. And I really got to commend the designer Taylor Anderson for making such a beautiful set that's not only a great display model, but a great one for play. And yeah, I mean, I can't say enough good things about it. The build itself was a really fun experience too. There were some parts that were a bit tedious, like kind of placing all of the tiles on either side, and then also the roof pieces, especially with these like one by one cylinders here. There's, like 4 or 5 different shades of brown or shades of red. And so sometimes it's kind of hard to tell which colors you're actually looking at and if you're selecting the right color. Same thing with some of these, trees, there's like several shades of green. So aside from that, aside from your eyes maybe hurting a little bit trying to distinguish between the colors, the display, you know the build process is so much fun, and it's like you don't want it to end, but at the same time you want it to end so you can fully enjoy the finished product. But it's one of those sets that I had so much fun building that I wasn't like, oh, can this be done already? Like, no, I loved this set, I loved building it. It was such a blast. I mean, even the minifigures, with BrickLink Designer Program sets, the minifig selection is usually a source of contention, and that's because the designers are forced to use existing Lego elements already, which I think is silly because Lego is charging standard set prices. It's not like, even though the price to piece ratio is probably better than, let's say, a licensed set, it's not like, oh, they're giving these sets away for free and that's why they don't include unique elements. Like, they're still charging. This is a $330 set. Why not give it some unique minifig elements? But even despite that, the minifig selection is still fantastic. I mean, all of the figures look like they belong, unlike the Adventure in Transylvania, where, there wasn't enough spooky figs and the ones we got were not that great. This set, I feel like the minifigs are just fine. I don't feel a need to swap them out with others like I did with the Transylvania Castle. And so that's another testament to Taylor Anderson for being able to like make such an incredible ambiance, such an incredible atmosphere, such a fun set with just, the within the limitations that he needed to abide by. I mean, 13 minifigures, you have a shark, you have a pig, you have a dog, you have, a seagull, you have like a parrot, you have so many different animals and characters, and there's different buckets, and there's fish, and there's coins and maps, and it's literally a treasure trove, as a pirate landscape should be. It's like a treasure trove of fun details and accessories, and it's just, like I said, so much fun to look at. All of the buildings have something to really appreciate. You have the fish market, you have like the armory, you have the inn, you have the fortune teller's home, and it's just like so much fun, and it draws you in, and it makes you not want to leave. And this is a set that I plan to display in a place where everybody who comes over is forced to kind of look and appreciate it, because it deserves that attention. It's a set that I think, if you're a fan of Lego, if you're a fan of pirates, this set is for you. And it is unfortunate that it's not available to the masses. I think if you're watching this review and you didn't already pre-order it and you want it, you're going to end up paying more than retail for it. But even if you pay like 100 or 120 more than retail, like I did, the set still feels like, it has that value in it, especially when you compare it to some sets that came out here in 2025, like the new Hogsmeade Village, 3,000 pieces for $400. That set to me is not a good value at all. This set, at $330, incredible value. At $450, you still feel like you're getting your money's worth, because it's such a fun set and there's no stone left unturned. And it's not like any compromises were made. You don't feel like, oh, I wish they did this, or they should have fleshed this out a little bit more. In fact, when I was building this half of it and I saw that this building was only one level, I was a little disappointed at first, but then you add the trees in and you add the other features, and all of a sudden it's busy and it's packed and it looks just right. And then it makes sense that it's lower, so you can appreciate this building too. And like I said, the designer just thought of everything, and it looks good from every angle. And yeah, it's just a tremendous set. I can't say enough good things about it. And I've gotten some incredible Lego sets this year. I got the new Death Star, I got the Adventure in Transylvania, I got a bunch of UCS sets like the Sail Barge, the new Arkham Asylum, all of which are great sets. But this set is just in a league of its own. And like I said, to be in the top five, in my opinion, is incredible for a BrickLink set, because I was one of those people who was like, oh, did the BrickLink sets really count? Or I'm only going to stick to the official Lego sets. And so, again, I'm so glad that the Adventure of Transylvania brought me to the BrickLink Designer Program, because now I am going to take a closer look. And I did take a closer look, and honestly, I think this is the strongest set out of the bunch. I think Series 5 in general is, a bit stronger than some of the other series, because you have this, the Transylvania Castle, the popcorn cart, which I also thinking of getting to put next to the Disney Castle. But this set especially, it's just in a league of its own. And I think that every single Lego fan out there, or every single Pirates fan out there, deserves to have this set in their collection, because it's just so much fun to look at. And yeah, like I said, I can't say enough good things about it. And unlike the Transylvania Castle, which I feel like really only looks good on its own, because with other spooky sets it doesn't, really match. And then with other castle sets it doesn't really match because of the black and the red. This set I feel like will look good anywhere you put it. You put it next to the Disney Castle, boom, it's like your Pirates of the Caribbean ride, or it feels like, you're on your way to Frontierland. You put it next to the Black Pearl, and it's perfect. You have a whole Pirates of the Caribbean setup. You put it next to, modular buildings. You put it next to the new Italian set. I forget what it's called. Or it just will look good anywhere you put it, because it's just that good looking of a set that, no one's going to look at it and be like, this set's out of place. Like, it's perfectly in place anywhere you put it. And so it's phenomenal. I love it. If you have engaged already, this set, I mean, 12 out of 10, 15 out of 10. It's just incredible. In fact, I really don't have any complaints about it. I thought I would, and usually I can find something to nitpick about. And my only nitpick again was that this build process with these colors was a little bit, frustrating at times. But other than that, this set just has so much amazing, things to offer that I think it would be a disservice to not explore it at some point. And I know that it's unfair to say that because it's not a standard release set. It's not one that you can, get double points on, or you can get on sale eventually, or try to find from another reseller like Amazon or Walmart. This is a set that is no longer available. Like, you're watching this video right now and you want it and you didn't pre-order it, you're going to have to pay more for it. And it is frustrating because this is a set that really should be available to the masses. It's that good. And so, yeah, I love it. Again, all the props to the designer, Taylor Anderson. He made me feel like a kid again, and that's the biggest compliment I can give to a set designer, because I have a lot of Lego sets. I buy a lot of Lego sets, all of the 18 plus sets, Star Wars, and all of them are great. I love them all, but this is a set that made me feel warm and fuzzy inside. It transported me to the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, which is my happy place. I love being on that ride and feeling that ambiance. It's such a nice feeling. And this set took me there. It's a set that invites play. It's a set that just invites you to look around and explore. And it's just so cozy and so much fun. And so, yeah, kudos to Taylor Anderson. You knocked it out of the park. And if you're on the fence about getting this set and you have the means to get it, do yourself a favor and get it. I promise you won't regret it. And if you do, let me know in the comments. Be like, oh, Flip for Figs, you were totally wrong about this. I'd love to hear somebody find something to complain about, because me personally, I can't find anything to complain about. I absolutely love it. And so I'm really happy to have it in the collection. And I think you would be as well. So with that said, this is the Thieves of Tortuga. And yeah, give it a shot if you have the means to. Alrighty, folks. Well, I hope you enjoyed this review of the Thieves of Tortuga. If you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. I release new content just like this every week, across, new Lego sets, action figures, Star Wars, gaming statues. I always have something new to post. And, if you love collectibles like I do, I think you're in the right place. So I'd love to have you as part of the Flip for Figs universe. And so with that said, I'll catch you next time.
When I flip, you flip, we flip.